and add some extra incentive.
And I think as well, as we move on to the next match of the day, of course, let's get on with it. Tyler versus Shaxy. Tyler is going to be shielding his rogue. Shaxy, sorry, shielding his warrior with Druid ban. I'm just making this quick. And the paladin being banned out, funny, and it was quest paladin from Shaxy being banned. Haha. Just a quick last note on Tom. I feel like there would have been a certain level of disappointment from the millions of Tom fans, because Tom did a huge thing for the Asia Pacific region. Is that I think that's Tyler's cousin. Yeah, they do visit quite often.
She
see his streams sometimes. But I think that Tom has a huge amount of fans, down to no short thing of becoming an Asia Pacific champion, basically a world champion, was a big deal. And I think there would have been a lot of people who were disappointed with Tom's performance last season, because you would just generally expect more from him. But we are going to see game number 1, Tyler, as you're making faces, Derek. Tyler on Rogue and Shaxy on Warrior.
I had it the wrong way around. I'd written down that he'd had his Druid banned, or had his Rogue banned and shielded his Druid. I had it the wrong way around. Either way, I think Tyler would also hope that this was a mistake.
Wrong way around,
exactly, because this Rogue is just not what you want to face against the Warrior whatsoever. This is a slightly different build to what we've seen from some of the other players.
Have you looked at the Warrior, my friend?
Oh, it was Warrior up there.
Have you looked at the build
oh, it's
of
aggro
the Warrior?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Apologies. No breaks in between the matches. Does make it difficult to...
We're back.
Yeah.
We're friends. So welcome back. We've got Tyler versus Shaxy coming up. It's going to be Rogue versus Aggro Warrior.
I really did get it wrong in every conceivable metric there, didn't I? That was almost impressive to the extent that I messed that up.
Not even mad. I'm impressed.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Aggro Warrior from Shaxy, bringing that signature Shaxy spice.
Yeah.
You should start bottling it up.
Can't even buy that in shops. Yeah,
exactly.
I was going to say, it's rare.
You can't buy this stuff. You're just born with it, and you have to be Shaxy to have it.
Yeah.
With this Aggro Warrior that he's got here, bit of an interesting build of the deck as well. We've seen obviously lots of different builds floating around. This seems to be very much on the aggro end of the spectrum here, with 2 Arcanite Reapers thrown in there. A lot less of the mid-game minion stuff going on, but still the kind of core of the deck that we're seeing there in all the 1-drops, the Bloodsworn Mercenary, buffing them up, copying them, and then just delivering a quick lethal.
And if this becomes, a matchup, as in a thing that continues past for a couple of weeks, it's going to be interesting to me, because it's the battle of Rogue's almost historic, forever, sheer tempo power versus Warrior, which at the moment, I would say is almost equal, because Warrior not only has Reborn, which is sticky, hard to remove, so kind of beats or matches the Rogue's tempo removal skills. It also has tempo plays of its own, right? Because Bloodsworn Mercenary is a card I know you love, which is insane. But then there's a sort of mixture of cards that can be used as removal, or cards can also be used as aggressive push and tempo gains as well. So very interesting matchup, I think. If this sticks around, it's going to get very sort of delicate as the time goes on.
Yeah, I love these kind of interesting matchups, because it feels to me somewhat thematically appropriate. Like, if you're in a fighting game, like Rogue is the quicker character that doesn't hit quite so hard, whereas Warrior is the kind of slower, lumbering character that
when it gets to hit
very hard. Exactly, yeah, because I would say the Rogue has much better tempo tools in the matchup, much more effective, so it is more likely to get bored. But the Warrior has a harder time of getting bored. But when it does, you are in trouble.
And
like,
also,
it will kill you quick.
A slight thing as well is Warrior's armor gain is not to be sniffed at, although it is not an aggro tool against another aggro deck. Sometimes pushing yourself out of, those aggro matchups that kind of hit stalemate.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm also laughing at that. It kind of hit a stalemate where it's just, oh, my minion kills your minion, then we top deck, and then we go again. Well, armor versus dagger will generally win because you gain armor twice as fast as the dagger can kill you.
Yeah, it's why, defensive options in an aggro deck are not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
Like Tarkreep.
Well, yeah, I was just about to say Tarkreep, but perfect example.
A bit different because it protected other minions, but yes, I agree. The same principle.
Also, the only weird thing right now is Shaxy probably wants Tyler to punch him because he currently can't draw a card off himself with Battle Rage. And if these minions are cleaned up, he can draw 1 card, and I think Shaxy would really like to draw more than 1 card right now.
Perfect lack generated there for Tyler to swing things back in his favor. Things were going from very, very, very good for Shaxy there to pretty bad, actually. This hand does not do a whole lot of anything.
I think he has to play the Battle Rage.
I'm definitely looking at
just trade Battle Rage and then decide if you want to NFI the other one.
Like, honestly, I think at 6 health, the point at which you're drawing 2 cards is like two turns down the line. Absolute minimum. Probably 3 turns down the line.
Yeah, it's a long way off, actually. I'm trying to think of even weird things that can happen.
Like, Tyler would have to go waggle, pick, face, face.
Or Shaxy would have to stick minions, which, again, just, you can't argue, like, rely on sticking minions in this matchup.
Like, if Tyler's hand has been this, which is very slow, the deck tops out at 6. Tyler's hand is likely a bunch of 4 and 5 mana cards. Or just 4 mana cards, really. It's just chock full of 4 mana cards in this deck. So he's going to start doing powerful things. Shaxy's got his eyes set on something very impressive here by holding on to this Battle Rage.
And I said it most of last season, when you were here and when you were not, that Shaxy has plays that I honestly, in the moment, don't understand. And I'll just hold my hands up. It makes me sound like a bad caster, which is fine. But Shaxy plays in a weird way, and I don't get it most of the time. But then he wins, and then I have to go back, watch the match, and then I get it. You know, I understand, but the first time you see him, especially play a new deck, can be weird. It throws me off a lot. And that's why I enjoy watching Shaxy play, because it's
great fun.
At worst a learning experience.
The problem is you can never find him to ask him either, because his Twitter handle is at 87923456429. Something ridiculous like that. Well, I'm looking at a nice easy play for Shaxy on this turn, in contrary to last turn. And it's not even that bad, I would say, to leave a 1 health guy in play, because Rogue on turn 5, Dagger up and a 3-drop, you know, they can do it. There's a few 3-drops in the deck, like Blink Fox and SI, but most of them want to be activated rather than just played out. So the 1 health guy here is, I would say, pretty annoying still for Tyler.
And looking at this green skin in hand, you might be wondering what's going on. There is 2 of the Livewire Lance, a card I like a lot, makes a Lackey 3-mana 2/2. And also 2 Arcanite Reapers.
This is Pirate Warrior.
Which is also very reasonable to be played on the week of WoW Classic. Arcanite Reaper was like a signature 2-handed weapon.
Oh, really?
It's like top end game 2-handed weapon. I want to say it was craftable, but hard to craft.
Right.
I didn't play the 2-handed weapon class in Classic, but Arcanite Reaper was like very, very significant in Classic.
Another fun fact about WoW Classic is that Heroic Strike is one of the abilities in WoW Classic. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that actually. Yeah. I've pressed that button a lot.
Warrior gets more fun, I told you. I promise. I promise.
I'm sure it does.
But for now, again, like Shaxy's really missing this weapon to just unlock options more than anything.
I mean, yeah, what does he do here? Like, Restless Mummy is kind of something he wants to save, because being able to rush it in, the second half is damaged, of course, so it makes Battle Rage a lot easier to activate. But he just can't. He has to play it.
And we said, you know, those stalemate times. Look at this aggro matchup. Both players on full health. Like, they're literally just fighting and fighting and fighting for board.
I mean, I've got to be honest. I think in any reasonable hand, Shaxy would be in a very dire situation here. I mean, he's got a pretty poor hand too, I guess. Right. It's fair to say. But both players have just got nothing. Like, they've drawn the absolute worst of the worst. Tyler, if he had any card that discovered a card from his opponent's deck, zoom, zoom, he just pulls miles in the lead with these vendettas.
I think this turn's big though, right? Because he can swing, he can clear this. Next turn, he has Shark into step at worst.
That's not great.
No, but then at best, he has a good draw into step.
Right,
which
if he gets a good draw, it's only one draw that turns this hand from garbage to insane.
Exactly, and the more garbage he's got now means his draws can surely only be good soon, because there are only decent draws left in the deck. Does he have to just in a rage draw a card?
What else is there?
I think
Play
you've got
green skin and just let it die.
I think, yeah, I think he has to buy the bundle.
Shaxy here on the hand is just saying, you know what, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to keep these combo-y kinds of cards until he can find, what, Bloodsworn Mercenary, I guess, is what he's going for. Honestly, I think that's actually pretty wise. Like, you know, we're talking about situations where he has to go Battle Rage here.
He isn't dead.
Berserker, Inner Rage, Battle Rage is not a winning play. Like, these are kind of plays that suck.
And also, he's not even close to dying yet.
Yeah.
He's not. If he was pressured, fine.
Yeah.
Bite the bullet, draw the card. But he's on 37 health, and there's a 1-1 on your opponent's side of the board, like, which might get bounced, which is even more hilarious. Which is, I think, why I didn't play the minion as well. This Murloc might get bounced, which is great.
I don't think he's going to be swinging this turn, mate.
I just mean it's less. The more it stays there, the more it's kind of weird for Tyler, right?
Here we go. Shaxy was. I mean, there were a lot of cards that he could have drawn there that would make him do something this turn. This is one of them. I think double Berserker, double Inner Rage.
And now it starts to get reasonably likely he draws a weapon soon as well, because and the second he draws a weapon, Greenskin gets unlocked, so on, so on. And Arcanite Reaper is a 5-2 weapon. Greenskin makes it a 6-3 if he has a swing, which can end games in 3 turns.
This hand he's picking up, though, is still just not very good. But Tyler still missing literally every good card in his deck. Leroy into Shark has to be the 2 worst cards he could draw, right?
Good thing
Maybe
now is
Backstab was worse there.
Can you just play... Oh, he's going to do this. You just cast another Vendetta.
I mean, I like him bouncing the Shark back here, because it clearly hasn't done its job.
It's what I was saying before, like, worst case he bounces Shark, and then one good draw goes nuts, right?
And while a 4-mana Shark is good, a baby Shark is insane.
I think he just may as well Vendetta this. Or is he too afraid of other minions? Okay.
I think it's fine. It's not too much damage he's taken. Like, if there's a Bloodsworn Mercenary here, I think that's not that bad.
Really?
I mean, it's always good. Bloodsworn Mercenary is always insane, right? If it's just copying a 3-1, it's not
right, I just mean there's like a minion there locked, loaded, ready to be copied, whereas sometimes with 2 Inner Rages gone,
maybe
it's actually quite difficult for Shaxy to get a copy off.
Fair point, fair point. Yeah. Interesting situation for Tyler. I mean, it allows him to replay the Shark, which means if he draws a good minion off the top, Tyler could be in a very good spot. But he just needs to find something. A lackey generator of any kind.
The problem now, though, is... I mean, that's one. The problem, though, is... It's teetering on the edge, because Shaxy now has put Tyler to 20. Yes, there's a life drinker in there with Shark, of course, but just forget about that for just a second. Like, it's getting to the point where a weapon almost does the rest. Like, it's very close.
It's true.
It's very close. That a weapon nearly just does the rest of the job done,
Or like a 17.
Or even if he makes a 3-3 weapon with the lance, it's 3-3 weapon and 3 lackeys. Like, that's still some good stuff.
Speaking of powerful things for Tyler here, look at this. Shark protected. Health protected. Board pretty much cleared. And Shaxy still drawing dead. As is, you know, somewhat expected. This deck is very low curving.
Yeah, he's really missed a weapon this game.
No, he's not missed a weapon. He needs one.
Did you just think I called him Mr. Weapon?
Yeah, that's the joke I was going for.
Okay.
I know you didn't say Mr. Weapon.
Yeah, okay. I was just making
like
sure
Mr.
that
Whippy.
there wasn't like some like high-level joke I missed. I was like, was that actually what Derek's gone for? Okay,
I mean, it was a reasonable joke, I think.
Yeah, but I expect more from you, Derek.
Really?
That's the thing. Yeah, I expect some kind of high-end.
I apologize. I'll step it up.
Deep-level meme.
That's the secret. They're all dumb.
Okay, well this is definitely picking up for Tyler, and now it's. Oh, I mean,
Cyber Tech.
Well,
it doesn't really do anything.
Is shrink rate that bad right now? Just gets rid of this
Mega Dillo. So expensive. Goblin Prank, sure.
Question mark?
Duel? It does something. Does Sacrificial Pact ever do anything? I mean, if there's any demons he could target, he'd take it, even if they're his own, because 5 health is nuts. Oh, this was actually pretty
Oh, yeah, I actually didn't consider Prank. Oops.
Yeah, that's nice. And then heal. Yeah.
Whatever. Play cards now, because what you know is one thing this deck from Shaxy does not do is deal with a board. There's nothing. The idea of the deck is your minions on average early game are and can be better than your opponents, and you run with it because of what cards am I thinking about? because of the Rampage and because of the way the Enrage works, and then Bloodsworn Mercenary with Frothing Berserker, you want to have better minions early game, and then you never lose the board, you win. But when you lose the board with this deck, it becomes very difficult to get it back, if not impossible.
This is a way that Shaxy has managed to seize, if not board control, at least a very, very sizable minion in play.
Execute.
Not quite.
It's like, wow, the worst minion. Is that potentially the worst minion? On this turn, he could have got.
Yeah. I mean,
on this turn specifically, but
I mean, on this turn specifically, like Boom Reaver would be worth, right? Because it's literally unplayable. Oh, they're equally bad. They both do nothing. Jewel coming down though.
Aha!
A pretty sick outcome there for Tyler, actually.
That's insane.
Wow, that's nuts.
And
Leroy just deleted.
And it can still attack.
Oh yeah, it's got Rush, of course. That's interesting. I wouldn't have actually necessarily guessed that's how it works.
Yeah, it works with.
Yeah,
I've seen it before. It's the same with Beast Within. The attack doesn't count.
I've seen
the attack is separate from like you. So yeah, it's like really good plays of like Unleash the Beast, Beast Within, attack. It's cool.
All right, Shaxy here.
Are you saying we've got
finally a game plan? We've got a game on our hands.
Yeah,
Arcanite Reaper.
He face tanks this, right?
Yeah. I think the 7/10 gets one more damage to face. I don't think there's any other avenue
he
than
cruel
just going to
tasks
face.
the 7/10.
What now?
Oh sure. Yeah. Okay. I guess you can.
I'm just thinking of like max it.
It's about maximum damage versus mana utilization because he might get something next turn that you'd rather play. His deck is so cheap.
I was gonna say not for more than 5 though, right?
Or more than 3 because he might want to fit a hero power.
Yeah, and it also means he can fit hero power this turn. Or he could save it for an on-demand Bloodsworn proc on a green skin. Like,
I think this is fine. Like, if he had charge minions left in his deck, he could consider holding onto it for charge Cruel Taskmaster plus the Mercenary.
And one thing to note is this version does in fact not play Grom, which some versions do.
No Grom, no Corcorons either, just Leroy, which has been deleted.
I had a great turn of Grom that lived, and then a Cruel Task, Bloodsworn, lol. just killed someone. It was like, yes, you are very... From 30 as well, it was great. You thought you were safe on 30 from Grom. Haha.
Not quite. Tyler now with enough stuff on board, I think, to be pretty secure. Especially with the Whirlwind, which is actually pretty secure.
Yeah, it definitely bridges the gap, doesn't it?
Trade. Everything in his hand perfectly clears up. On the board, perfectly clears up.
And then there's development afterwards, the Shark. He could actually just... I wonder if it's worth, but he could just play Dynamatic Blank and then play the Shark after, right?
Sure. Or he could gain Leroy while there's no room on the board.
Is he going to Titanic Macky the Leroy?
I guess so, yeah.
It's just,
I mean, he doesn't have to.
It's just because he can't bounce it. It just feels
there's
a little
nothing
bit...
with 1 to kill it off, right? It's just 6 damage.
Yeah, but there are other cards that deal 1.
So
I guess
is what you say, yeah.
Now there are 2 cards that deal 1.
Back to work.
And Shaxy now
Have to back down the fight for control. I mean,
but the thing is, Shaxy might be able to outlast Tyler, right?
no.
No?
I think that's incredibly unlikely. Especially with like Rat off the top.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that turn takes him.
I think there was extremely limited draws there.
I just mean because like Double Vendetta's gone, Leroy's gone, Ziliax has gone, Sharks have gone, kind of, because one's on the board.
It takes so little though. Like a single Pharaoh Cat could just be enough. A single Edwin could carry him.
I guess.
Togwaggle, like, you know, there's a bunch of stuff. Even without the activation, just a 5/5 Togwaggle is huge.
I mean, Shaxy still has plenty of weapons in his deck. Does have some damage available to him. But it is looking grim. Oh, Titanic Macky with Shark. Insane. Okay. He needs to do 10 damage. That's not this way. Maybe impossible now, I think?
It's getting pretty close.
Yeah.
Leroy's gone, Greenskin's gone.
He would need to swing, swing, lance, swing, swing, lackey damage, someone.
And I think he's dead long. Hey!
As usual. You play it, right? He's got no cards. Who cares?
Exactly. Generous Mummy here. Nuts. The absolute best possible. I mean, the Ancestral Guardian is just like absolute lockout. That's way better than the Generous Mummy. But Generous Mummy, the nuts.
But Generous Mummy still makes it into the game.
Exactly.
No matter what happens, if there's a Pharaoh cat, there's a mummy.
Okay. If this is 20 flunkies one after the other.
There's one.
But you could just populate the whole board.
There's not one.
He could just play Tomb Warden and Cruel Taskmaster for full mana utilization. Mummy sucks. And then double walk.
What a game of Hearthstone. Bear in mind, this is a shield versus shield as well.
True. So neither deck was eligible to be banned at the start of the pick ban phase. Which is interesting. Tyler, you know, it makes some amount of sense to me that he's going with this rogue because it's got good matchups against the Quest Paladin. I would say decent against this warrior as well. Like, for example, with Staz, when he had his Quest Paladin in his lineup, as soon as the rogue wasn't shielded, he banned that straight away.
Yeah.
So I think this is a pretty wise ban.
And funnily enough, but Shaxy did not shield his Paladin. As like maybe a heads up of, I won't shield my Paladin, he's going to shield his rogue if he's got a mind for it. Very intricate.
2 cards being drawn here. Shadow Step, 2 more should he so desire.
Yeah. Let's draw that deck.
I'm sensing a swift end to the game coming up soon.
He also has Toggers, doesn't he, in the deck?
He does have Togchamp. Oh my, oh my. Oh, this Edwin!
Oh!
Is this going to be the biggest Edwin we've ever seen?
I will need him to backstab still.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, he's got to backstab his own thing.
I mean, if you're Tyler, you just start styling him here. Absolutely.
Yeah. Here we go. Don't you dare.
What is this? Predictions. How big is this?
Your presence offends.
26-26.
30-something, 30-something.
Oh.
Oh, yes! I'm taking it.
30-something, 30-something.
Yeah.
I mean, 0 is a something.
Yeah, there you go. It was 30 and 0. that's just true. I win.
30-0 and stats a go. Tyler was able to take the win pretty decisively over Shaxy. I've got to say, the Warrior had a surprising amount of staying power there. For what was, after the first couple of turns, a miserable amount. Like, turns 1 and 2 was looking fairly strong. But then double Inner Rage, the Battle Rage, nothing to cast it on 6 armor.
Yeah.
It was a terrible situation.
I think
he kept going.
And Warrior did 0 broken things. So it did no broken Warrior things, right? Yeah. Whereas Warrior can be, if you go Frothing Berserker, it trades into something, and then Bloodswan, you probably win most of the time. So Warrior can do very broken things, but still it was kind of just a funny game of Hearthstone, very, very close, up until one player just took that one stride ahead, and no one saw that. And that player, as I get too crazy with my arm movements, was Tyler as he goes ahead 1 and 0. I'm going to go for a break, and you guys should too. I need to pick up my pen, so we'll be back in a minute.
darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tombs, they grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do. There might be magic monsters, mummies in the markets, and ancient mysticism. There should be scorching deserts, adventure and monster of narcissism. High stakes think annihilation, obliteration of civilization. Now is the time to be brave, evil's come to enslave, but this league's gonna save the world.
We are back and ready to go with Tyler versus Shaxy going into game number 2. But before we do, we just have a quick update. The bans weren't quite correct for what we had before. We had Tyler's Druid banned out, but it is in fact Warrior. So it does mean we are going to be heading into a Druid mirror match in game number 2.
Okay, that makes sense. So I guess I was wrong, but I was wrong about what I was wrong about. So therefore, 2 wrongs make a right, as the saying goes.
Sure, you can have it.
There we go. However, with the Druid Mirror coming up, this is, I think, the first time we've seen it this weekend.
Yes.
And this matchup is a bit weird. It can get very, very crazy very quickly because, obviously, it's a mirror match, but it feels very clear and in your face that it's a mirror match in this one because both decks are trying to do the exact same thing at the exact same time, and a lot of cards just trade evenly into each other.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the trick, is going to be the first person that can utilize, if we live in the world where they both get their minions at the same time, right?
Yeah.
If someone just doesn't draw minions or doesn't draw Nourish, then it's going to be a problem if the other player does. Of course, that's a mirror match. But for me, it's going to be utilizing board buffs at the right time to get those value trades, because then you force your opponent to play a card along the line of Starfall, and if they do that, then they aren't playing more minions, which means then you just play more minions, and then it snowballs, and then suddenly you blink and the game's over. So I think that's going to be key. We do see Shaxy just sort of go for a quick mulligan there, but I think Tyler should maybe consider the Defender a little bit. I think it is a pretty good card.
Really?
But if you're going to throw it away and get Nourish, then sign me up for that class.
Yeah, I think I would rather look for Crystal Merchant, Nourish, I suppose, Oasis Surger, big time as well. Worthy Expedition, I think, is fine. Just a lot of the cards that are non-reactive early on, like Worthy Expedition and Crystal Merchant, or powerhouse cards for when you complete the quest.
Sure. Well, already you'd have to say Shaxy just has the better end of the stick because he has the coin in a very straightforward matchup, at least in the early game. And then he has the Expedition, and then he has Innovate. So he can actually be not only flexible going into his quest, which means he can use turn 6 plays with his Innovate. He could also, if needed, say next turn, play Loti into Innovate on top of the mana. He doesn't need to because his opponent doesn't run cards that threaten him, but all it means is it's basically a second coin for when you can proc your quest.
I mean, I doubt we'll go for it on turn 3, but turn 4, just Loti stealth with poison. I really
yeah.
Because Druid, well, actually, I guess they have Starfall, which can play around that, but they do have limited ways to answer that. And so it can just give you the strong answer to the first Oasis Surger or Hidden Oasis.
I think it's worth it now, you know.
Yeah, very possible.
So you can kill the crystal next turn while still going. Oh, I guess Feast does the job.
Next turn, Innovate Nourish, please.
Yep.
Oh, that's the best card he could get. That's insane.
Honestly,
Double Defender.
Honestly, it feels like Shaxy's almost already won the game because of these turns being so powerful. I don't really know how Tyler comes back.
Oh, I don't know about that. Tyler's got some pretty strong plays he can make on his own. First of all, he's just throwing out Zephyrus here.
Needs something to do.
Yeah, pretty surprising. Which is one of the things I was going to bring up as the difference between their lists.
Tyler
think it was active.
I think Tyler thought it was active. Oh, he did! He definitely did! Tyler!
What?
This is not a Highlander deck!
I mean, I thought he was just tempoing out, which I've got to be honest, I was pretty surprised by as it is.
Shame conceded. That is not a... This is not a Highlander deck. This is a deck that draws so fast, you gain the benefit often enough from Zephyrus to play late game. But Tyler is... embarrassed.
So last week, Tyler played Luna's Pocket Galaxy into Counterspell. So he played Bloodfen Raptor.
I'm going to make an assumption, as us casters like to do sometimes, but I wonder if Tyler hasn't played much of this deck.
I wonder.
Because he thinks it's... Oh, because most players think it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
But if you've not played enough of it, and you've been playing a lot of Highlander decks,
yeah.
it's a mistake that you can slip into.
I mean, like, it wasn't... And this has got a lot of mustard on this word. This wasn't that bad.
That's like 2 balls of mustard.
Yeah, exactly. Because it, it gets a 2-3 in play. Maybe that helps him swing the board back in his favor. It's not all terrible. Didn't like it, but it allowed him to clear off the defender here.
Yeah, but the snowball just keeps rolling, doesn't it? Because the problem is, Oasis Surger, now what? Like, there's not a play that... You can Oasis Surger, you can even low team trade and push 8 damage to face and keep the Oasis Surgers on full health.
Yeah, this just goes horrendously for Shaxy here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, pick your poison. What do you want here? Everything's so good.
He could also Tendy and just
Tendy's
trade.
is nuts here.
I think Oasis Surger, low T, go trade with the low T, go face. It's unclearable.
It's Starfall Swipe. He needs to figure out what is resilient to Starfall
and that's
Swipe.
2 5/5s.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like the low T's still on decent health. Your 2 minions are 6 health, 3 health, which is yes, the Panther dies, but from Swipe, Starfall, but who cares?
Save the Tauren.
Yeah. But you go 2 Surges. What kills 2 5/5s? Yeah, I like this from Shaxy. Oh, is he? Okay, you know what? Yeah, I actually, thinking about it now, I see it on board, because I always kind of forget the shape of Loti when it's buffed, is a 4/6 is just better than a 5/5 in this instance, right? So, yeah, I can see the trade happening that way, that's fine. And now, Tyler might just be deaded.
Yeah, are we looking... So what is actually... Starfall Swipe clears off 2 of... well, it clears off everything bar 1, so you can pull off everything apart from Loti, which is pretty good, actually. And I think it has to be the play, right? Because if you don't, you just get Scenariosed, and then you die.
And it had to be exactly this play.
Yep.
Exactly these 2 cards.
I mean, sorry, when I say Scenarios, obviously, from Tyler's perspective, I think he'll be anticipating some kind of Scenarios or board buff effect. And even if not, he'd just be tanking a million damage. You've got to do this.
Now, you can win the Expedition first, just to test the water.
It was a 1-drop, but,
No. It's probably good, because there probably isn't board space.
Yeah, this was great. This was great.
And then, this just seems fine. And then King next turn, or Heal and Taunt, depending, or Surger, or Starfall. Like, any turn. Shaxy's basically covered for anything that happens now.
Tyler can do a very reasonable job of clearing up the punch with, like, Oasis Surger into, I guess, the loop version Oasis Surger. Yeah, he can clear up everything apart from the stealthed version of the War Druid Loti.
Oh, more Starfalls.
I really, gotta be honest, I really hope that Tyler wins so I can interview him and ask us whatever happened this game.
If Tyler wins, I'll be disgusted. Because it shouldn't happen.
I mean, it wasn't that horrendous of a misplay again. Like, it's not execute your own Sylvanas levels. We're not approaching that territory.
Always got to remember the spell damage on Loki is so worth it.
It's so good.
Oh my god. What a card.
I
Deal
always
6, deal
forget
3 to the board.
Woof.
You could almost never reveal that Loti, and it's just good.
Yeah, exactly. It's just threatening lethal all the time. Tyler with another Starfall hit. Could just go for another clear turn.
I think I like this actually.
Yeah,
I was
no,
looking at this last
it's
turn
over.
where it's just, do you just have to just play it and go?
Kirinsaw Tricaster is interesting. Is that good?
Question. I feel like it should be a butterfly flying past. Is this good?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not as good as Loti when you're factoring in spell damage.
It's insane, right?
Yeah,
And swipe is actually
15, quite very
it's
good.
lethal, more or less.
Yes.
And most importantly, it's important to play on Tyler on 3.
Perfect card nowhere to be found for Tyler.
There is swipe into heal though. Swipe clears off the Loti.
It's a good. It's a pretty perfect card. Actually.
Our power
Only gets worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. This 6/6 though is still pretty good. Is Tyler? Oh, Innovate Wrath with Scenarios. Is Tyler winning? Has he turned this around? Without that Hidden Oasis, this was just absolute GG.
Hidden Oasis is insane.
That was the.
It
that
allows
was the
you to
perfect card. I take that
it
back.
allows you to come back into games that you should not be allowed to. It's especially just versus aggro. You can be getting destroyed turns 1 to 5, then turn 6 Hidden Oasis. Oh wait, I win.
So Starfall is actually not that good on this turn, annoyingly. Like taking out the 6/6 is obviously pretty good. I'm not sure it's good enough to necessarily warrant over scenarios.
Tyler going deep.
Nourish.
End up being too bad.
Yeah, it's fine.
And also, like, the breakpoints outside of swipe are kind of relevant.
And I guess you'd much rather clear than taunt in a way. Like you want scenarios to come down after you've cleared everything. So I guess this is.
And also the Scenarios Innovate Power of the Wild as well, which is pretty good. Or probably... Wait, what's better? Power of the Wild first, right? Scenarios gives... Oh, wait. No, because it'd be +4. Wait, does it have to be in this...
What? Oh,
What's
is this
better
the
to play?
Innovate Scenarios Power of the World? Yeah.
Yeah, hang on. I can't visualize the board
I
for
know.
some reason.
Yeah. This is a pretty nuts turn. Shaxy, the swipe was looking good to me at first to push damage to face, but he actually makes a pretty nice read of getting the Hidden Oasis down, which allows him to very nicely dominate this board position and put Tyler in another rough spot.
Yeah, and the big thing about Hidden Oasis in the mirror as well is, as you can quite easily see, there's nothing that quite deals 6.
Yeah.
Like, it's very annoying, apart from Starfall.
4th Starfall of the game.
And he can coin out Surger.
Yeah. Oh. But Starfall is just not quite good enough.
The problem is Tyler's also on 6 cards versus Shaxy's 11.
If Tyler goes for that, he just loses.
Tyler there's no Nomi in Tyler's and no Nomi in Shaxy's, so it really is just a straight up value game with there's no finale. Basically, there's no like, Nomi, go. So Shaxy is just, I think, strictly ahead in terms of just value right now.
Tyler can leave 4 damage at absolute maximum on the board, which he is able to do on this turn to survive at 1 health. He could still win this game. His hand is obviously way better.
Play the flute.
That's just a 3/4. What's he saving it for? What is it better? I mean, like, pretty much any other minion is better.
But the problem is it's better in 2 turns.
Right, exactly.
time.
There's not really any minions right now.
Like holding the swipe in case he needs to swipe through a taunt.
Mordred Loti. Why are we whispering? Because it's so dense!
The biggest question is, can Tyler do 27 damage quicker than he takes 1 fatigue?
I don't know. Scenarios here just loses, right? You swipe 1 taunt.
Yeah, you get through.
And yeah, you get through with exactly... Tyler sees that. I don't know if he's got the read on what this card is. Well, he knows it was a 4-cost card, right? Because of King Feoris. If he's been keeping track, he knows this is a 4-mana card. A 4-mana spell.
Yes.
Because it's
If he's been keeping track.
If he's been
he did
keeping
play
track.
Zephrys.
Yes, exactly.
Let's
which
remember.
is not necessarily the case that he will have done so. We are now looking at 1 damage off lethal again.
So he swipes the minion, right?
You can't take the value trade on.
No, but just having a minion. No, because he swipes. So on his eyes, he swipes and then Hidden Oasis.
Yes,
and then the
goes
6/6
face.
protects
Yes,
the 3/4,
yes.
and that sets up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not stuck again. Puts him to 1.
Tyler may be stuck though. He needs to pull himself out of this game. And this is all he's got to do so. He can clear off the board, set up these 2 taunts. He needs to kill his opponent in 4 turns or the game just ends anyway. Oh no, less because it's drawing him
Wait,
cards.
I didn't know he had a Hidden Oasis. I thought he played them both.
But he has another Hidden Oasis, but Shaxy has the Nourish.
But what's he got to draw? What's he got to... Shaxy's got no damage in hand. He's got no damage. He's used 2 swipes,
Has
right?
he used both the swipes?
I want
can't
to say he's used 2 swipes. I could be wrong, but I thought he did.
remember. Tyler's standing up in his chair.
Please!
Hidden Oasis
That's
is
just,
so huge
that is just...
for Tyler though.
It has to be the game, right?
I don't know, Sonaris is a road bump that could slow him down
That's
enough.
17 damage this turn minimum. He hid an Oasis, and then, well, you can Ferocious Howl and then hit an Oasis.
Yeah. Or does he want to?
I think
Ferocious
so,
Howl?
because it gains him more life than he's
armor.
going to lose in the short term, and in the short term he should win.
But he would then be floating at mana, which means he's drawing another card.
Oh, oh, that's true.
Like, you know, he's...
I mean, he's got float mana anyway.
Yeah. It's probably just...
I guess.
Oof.
Does he beats his own minion? Can you do that? I don't know. You can't. Oh, no, because
Well, you can, but it wouldn't be enough.
Well, he can't attack his own minion.
You can beat zero.
Oh, can you?
That's how the infinite combo works, right? With
Oh, right. Okay. Well, another good card.
Oasis Surger now, with bees,
It's not enough.
still not
right?
enough to connect anything face.
But it's not enough to clear the board.
Not enough to
though.
clear the board.
And you need
Tyler has
taunts.
no extra damage though, and Shaxy will know this. Every card started in the deck. Oh no, maybe the Starfall didn't. Oh no, wait, it did. This one did. What did it? I don't think it did. I think that's a discovered Starfall.
I think he needs taunts, doesn't he? So he trade. These. A 5 damage gets pushed. I guess he could take 5.
What to do?
This is so close. Wait, so does Tyler lose there? Trade beats.
Tyler can go Starfall this turn, push face.
Oh
But
wait, I
never.
thought... Did I add up my trade trap?
He could have killed off the 6/6 there.
Yeah, I thought he was going to kill the
Could-
6/6
yeah.
and bees the taunt.
Right, so this is where it comes down to undiscovered information. Shaxy does not know about the Starfall in hand because it was discovered on
Right, so he went
Expedition.
for the full value
He went for the
trades
value trades,
to take more
exactly.
damage.
And Tyler has the ultimate punish to that.
And then next turn there's bees to kill the 4/4 that Scenario summons. If that's the play, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, this wasn't. Yeah, this wasn't discovered. It would have said.
Oh, is it not? Oh,
No,
was this the one that was in the
That
deck?
must have been the one that was in the deck.
Right.
So it wasn't discovered because it would say underneath, right? So Tyler's trying to work out what's possibly left. It has to be Wrath.
There's no
No,
Zephrys
it can't
in
be Wrath. It
Shaxy's
can't.
deck.
Wait, does Wrath matter?
In terms of fatigue,
Whatever
he takes
whatever
one
his
damage
last
anyway. Yeah.
card is.
It's not Zephrys because he doesn't have it in the deck.
So
I don't even know what it is. It's something rubbish though.
What to do?
Unless it's exactly Hidden Oasis, which I don't think it is.
I think Tyler wins.
I think
You
Tyler
might get your wish.
just gets there. I mean, imagine if Tyler had his wish from Zephyrus. He would have won the game like 20 turns ago.
Maybe Zephyrus, in a roundabout way, did win in the
Careful
game.
what you wish for.
Yeah. Zephyrus is like, it's like the end of a, one of those films that has a really strong moral theme to it. It's like, what you thought you wanted really wasn't what you wanted all along.
The wish was the friends you made along the way.
The friends being winning games of Hearthstone.
Exactly. And that means
That's game.
B, trade, face, game over. That was such a sick game. Considering how toxic these Druid mirrors can be, I'm very glad we got to see that come
was nuts.
right down to the wire there for Tyler, just eking out a victory and heading up 2 games
look at
to
the
0.
relief.
2-1 start for Tyler. He thought he'd lost that game pretty much before it even began.
We can't believe it either, Tyler. We cannot believe it either.
I've got to be honest, that's the Tyler I know. Like, that's the good old Tyler who honestly makes some really dumb mistakes. Like Tyler, for such a strong Hearthstone player who I respect above pretty much all others, goodness me, does he do some stupid stuff.
Yeah, Tyler is a great player, has tons of fans, and rightly so. But last week was, and I said it before it was even played, I don't think he needed to play Pocket Galaxy into Mystery Mage Secret. Yeah. I think he could have waited and he had the information to be able to wait. This week was just Tempo Zephyrus, Bloodfen Raptor all over the show. And yes, he won the game, fair enough. But you can see as soon as he played it, he sort of stopped and went, it was just, I think it was more, do I just go in and react to this on camera, or do I pretend like this was the plan all? I definitely would have been like, in my head would have been like, oh no. But outside I would have been like, yeah,
I've made a huge mistake.
3-2 or push face. But what a crazy series, and Tyler taking a win over Shaxy. Again, Tyler taking a win off someone who performed so well last season is, you've got to say, only going to be great, not only for just having one more point on the board, but in terms of tiebreakers going forward, you have to imagine Shaxy will do well. Shaxy's a very good Hearthstone player, so it means that if Tyler puts himself towards that top 4, and it does come down to tiebreakers, which almost everything came down to tiebreakers on the last day of Season 1, then it has to be said that a win you want is a win against Shaxy.
It's just
kind of slogan, that, doesn't it?
Shaxy for president. It's topsy-turvy land here in Season 2 of Grandmasters. We're seeing Surrender go down 0-3. We're seeing Tom, who had a poor season last time, going up to the top. Shaxy down at the bottom. Fino 0-3. War Control winning a game of Hearthstone. Everything's just going wrong here.
Yeah, and I saw from Boston yesterday, who or last night, depending on time zones, tweeted that he was getting very frustrated. So I don't know if you watched Boston's matches.
Yeah, that was pretty miserable.
He's literally losing games of Hearthstone that are unwinnable. Week in, week out.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it's like, he's literally like, I don't know, I played well. I think I played the best I could do. And he keeps losing, which it hurts me because I'm good friends with Boston. I like him a lot. But it's just a crazy season. And we're like day 2 of week 2. There's like loads more weeks left, so it's absolutely crazy. I believe Tyler is ready now for his interview. So Tyler, can you hear us?
Yeah, hey, what's up, man?
I won't ask you any questions right away. Is there anything you would like to tell us about that last game, Tyler?
I legit thought I was playing Reno Druid, and I thought it was Texas. and I was like, oh, crap. But it was a good tempo play.
That's what I was saying.
I might have still done
That's
the tempo
what I was
play.
saying.
Anyway, so
as soon as you did it, I was like, okay, so Tempo Zephyrus here. It's kind of interesting to play against the Oasis Surger, and then you just started crying, whereas you should have just covered it up like nothing
on
happened.
Camera.
I'm man enough to admit it. Like I legit thought for a second I was playing Reno Druid. Yeah, it happens.
You know, they added a yellow border for players like you, Tyler, just in case you're ever unsure again.
But that was a sick game, though. I don't know how I won that one.
Yeah, and what do you think about that matchup? Because I think because of people's opinions of the Druid deck being fairly straightforward to play, I think that matchup could easily become quite swingy. But what do you think of it in general, and what do you think of that game? What were the tough decisions for you outside of when to play Zephyrus?
Like, on coin, you're already favored because he gets to get the initiative, right? It's the same like with any other Druid matchup back in the day. Like, if you go first. Now, like, if you get the initiative, then you just keep making boards, and then the other Druid can only answer by removing. Like, it's really hard to remove the board and make your own board. So I wasn't on the back foot the entire game, and like my only hope was that he would run out of cards. So like I finally got to the point where I managed to remove everything. He was out of cards, and then he top decked a Nourish, and then it got really scary. And somehow I squeaked it out. Like and it was like a miracle, really. I have to rewatch the game. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, just skip over the about turn 4, I think it was. just skip that bit, go and get a drink for that one, then move on.
But
I think it won me the game, though.
It did work out well. It did work out well.
We were at 1 life at some point, right? If we didn't do that, we were dead.
Yeah, I mean, we'll ignore the fact that when you're at 1 health with Zephyrus, you can find cards to get you out of that position. But yeah, we'll pretend that's not the case.
I disagree. I think I really would have been dead if we didn't play the Zephyrus.
Okay, fair enough. It wasn't that bad, as I said. But I want to talk to you about your preparation, right? Because obviously, you know, that was a bit of a blunder. But I think overall, your play felt solid with the deck. So what is your preparation with this? Like, you know, if you're thinking you're playing a deck that you're not playing, that clearly indicates that at least with this deck, you maybe haven't prepped as much as we would expect from a grinder like you.
I haven't played the deck much, and this week I actually prepped with Patra, and she came up with the lineup, so all credits go to her. And she said, Tyler, Druid is just a nut, you have to play it. And I was a bit out of the meta. I hadn't played any Druid, so I blame that mistake for that. But all credits for Patra, like she gave me the lineup, 90 cards, so yeah.
Yeah, and were you feeling good about the lineup in general when you saw, you know, you're against Shaxy? Like, were you feeling good in terms of all 4 decks versus all 4 decks?
Yeah, I think when I got Rogue into Warrior, I think that was a really good matchup because once the Warrior loses board, then you're just winning. So I already had like 1 deck that's favored against him, and I honestly don't know how good his Shaman deck is. I have never played against that deck, but yeah, that's what makes it interesting this week. Like, we have a lot of new decks because of the nerfs, and I have to admit I'm pretty inexperienced in most of the matchup, but I'm glad I won.
Yeah, I have nothing else. Just congratulations on a good win.
Yeah, good job, Tyler. We'll see you later, mate.
Thanks, Matt. Later.
Okay, what? Crazy games all day again. I love it.
He can play it off as a lucky mistake there that it worked out in his favor. But you know, this is honestly what happens. Tyler has not been streaming Hearthstone this week as he's been known to do. He's been playing other games. He makes mistakes. You have to be playing a lot of Hearthstone, especially with the new practice, the new patch coming in with the nerfs, to be at the forefront of the meta game. And Tyler did not demonstrate that this week. He was lucky to come away with a win.
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, you know, however much we love Tyler, like this, we would say the same about anyone in that if he's not played much Druid and he's not played or done too much about Quest Shaman, then he really hasn't been playing much this week because that is a good portion of the ladder, I believe, as well as a few other decks, of course. But it's definitely, I feel like he got away with it for now. And hopefully next week we see a little bit more of preparation, a little bit more solid, because mechanically he's fine in general, but just knowledge of decks and stuff in general. So we'll see how it plays out. But we've got one more match